John, let's bring in criminal defense attorney John Mobley in Colombia, South Carolina, to talk about this case. Okay, John, this is my first time talking with you about this case. What's your take? We heard defense counsel put forth this theory that Adelson is not the guy, but the state wants him. What do you think?
Well, Kelly, I got to call it like I see it. This is definitely a defendable case. There's no doubt that the fact that Adelson has the connection with the convicted killers in this case is certainly reason enough to investigate any connection he would have and make him a suspect. But again, being a suspect is not enough. They need the proof. And what I'm not hearing from the prosecutor, what I'm not seeing is that blockbuster, that bombshell evidence that makes me, if I'm defending this case, think, something, we got a real problem here. We got to, figure out how we're going to address it. That's a big issue for them. I think they would love to have, on one hand, the cooperating testimony of the convicted killers. The problem is, they haven't implicated him in the past. So even if they do at some point, and I don't think they will in this case, but even if they did somehow testify and try to bring him in and tie him to the murder, they're not going to have any real credibility since they haven't brought him in before, since they're clearly trying to get a reduced sentence. On the other hand, I do believe the defense has given the jury a theory that they can really wrap their minds around. They presented a good version. And the videotape, the recording between Adelson and his girlfriend, the words and the test and the statements made during that video recording, I think that really kind of supports the defense theory. He's asking who the people are. There's conversations or statements made by the ex-girlfriend about harm being done to his family. So he does support the theory that anything he did, any payments he made, were being done out of extortion and blackmail. And I love the theory about the murder for hire payment plan. It sounds like a bad comedy, like a kind of a screwball comedy where there's a murder for hire, the guy's too broke, you got to make payments on the murder. I think that the prosecution has an uphill battle in this case. The defense has a great theory. One thing I want to say as well, I really think the prosecution should consider having the experts testify in summary fashion, as opposed to trying to identify every exhibit and go, piece after piece. The defense concedes all of that evidence. Defense concedes if the victim was murdered and the individuals convicted are responsible. So while on one hand, yeah, they want to make sure the jury has a background or understanding of how the crime took place, spending all that time on individual pieces of evidence, I think they're going to lose the jury. The jury's going to be thinking, okay, where's the good part? We know he got killed. They admit he got murdered. I think a better strategy to move the case along, would be to just pre-admit all the evidence. Judges allow that. The defense is not going to object to all these exhibits. Pre-admit them. Save some time. And just have your forensic or crime scene expert testify in kind of a summary fashion as opposed to going piece by piece. They can talk about and summarize what they did and what they found and how it relates to the murder. So, if they're going to play it that way, I think that kind of plays into the defense because they're going to be losing the jury. You always want to be mindful of the mood and the stamina and attention span of a jury.
Definitely.